The advice is to uh, go for it, create your own world, enjoy every single note, enjoy every single moment, share with other people. Because we belong to a kind of community, and bass players, we are special.
Hello and welcome to ForBassPlayersOnly.com. I'm John Liebman, founder and first baseman. If you've ever wanted to learn bass, you should know that right now there are thousands of people inside the For Bass Players Only community, a lot of them over 50, and they are learning bass, having the time of their life playing music that they love. You should come join them and experience that incredible transformation for yourself. Remember, you're never too old to groove. So let's play bass. My guest this week is Antonella Mazza, a very accomplished player of both electric and upright bass. Originally from Italy, Antonella is considered by many to be one of the most highly acclaimed bassists hailing from that part of the world. She studied classical double bass at the Giuseppe Verdi Conservatory of Music in Milan. She also attended Berklee College of Music in Boston under the tutelage of Bruce Gertz and David Clark. She's done all kinds of tours, recordings, TV appearances. She currently resides in Paris, where she is right now. This is her second time on For Bass Players Only. Welcome, Antonella. It's great to see you.
Hey, how are you? That's really great to be here after 9 years. Last time we made an interview, 9 or 10.
Yeah, I think it was in the fall of 2016, so coming up on 8 years. I think I said 9 in our emails, but maybe I didn't get the math right. But we were at the Warwick Base Camp in Markneukirchen, Germany, which I've never said the same way once. And we had a great time, and it was a great interview. And boy, those hangs were amazing, weren't they?
Yeah, it was a great time. It was easier because I was by your side. Now we are kind of far, but
Well,
by the way, I'm really happy. Thank you for having me.
oh, thank you. I'm sorry for waiting so long in between interviews, but it was a great interview. We got the whole story. You were telling me about how your mom played the bass, and you were telling me about all the stuff that you did growing up and the TV show that you did. And I figured after 8 years or whatever we decided it was, something must be new. You must be keeping busy. I don't think you were living in Paris at the time, were you?
8 years ago, I was already living in Paris. Yes, I moved here. It's almost 14 years actually. Yeah, I'm expecting.
You did mention the Sorbonne, I remember.
Yeah, yeah. I was studying literature. I have some weird hobbies because you can't only have music in your life. You need to explore other things. Otherwise, you don't have materials. You talk music, but you need to nourish your brain to express yourself differently.
And the Sorbonne is not a bad place to do that.
Yeah. Moscow was a good trip, but it was not really my place. It was a good experience, but I don't really belong to the academy world. It's okay. It was just an experience, another experience in my life.
What was the reason that you moved from Italy to Paris? What was going on in your life at the time?
I should invent a great story. The real story is just I met someone that was living here. And I said, okay, I will follow my heart. I thought it was love. And then after the love had gone, I decided to stay here. Actually, I'm happy. I did a lot of stuff in Italy and was a fresh new start here. difficult because I had to restart from zero. In Italy, I was used to be known because I was working in TV shows. My phone was working by itself, was ringing, and my agenda was full of gigs. And here in Paris, first of all, I didn't know the language, but I was not speaking French. And I said, yeah, with English, it will be okay, but no. French people are great, but they are not really into languages. So that was the first wall. And then, you know better than me that our job it's made of relations, and I had almost no relation here. So I started going out for jam sessions. I hate jam sessions. And I restart to build a new world, a new réseau around me. And actually, I'm happy. I work, I travel, I have friends, and I'm happy here.
What is keeping you busy these days as far as the Paris-based music scene goes?
But here, there are really a lot of things happening. There are several different music scenes. Actually, since 1 year, I'm playing in a great project. It's a tribute to Jimi Hendrix, a all-female tribute to Jimi Hendrix, Electric Ladyland.
Okay.
So this was really kind of challenge for me because I was, I knew few songs of Hendrix, but I never really went deep into bass lines construction. I studied like for 3 months, and I prepared the first concert, working like crazy because there is a lot of job into Hendrix bass lines. This kind of jazz stuff and funk stuff and crazy structures. But now I feel it's like I was eating a lot of Hendrix, and today I feel I can. Also, when I'm not playing the Hendrix songs, sometimes I do fields or phrases I was stealing from Billy Cox or Noel Reddit.
Yeah. I saw Billy Cox. There was what was it called? The Hendrix Experience, I think. It was a tour that went around, and he played. Yeah, that was awesome. I've reached out to him. I've been trying to get him on the show here, but I guess I'll keep trying. But some of those lines are kind of laid back. Not, before Billy Cox, Noel Redding, like "Hey Joe,"
Yeah.
Those are fun and not too intimidating or overwhelming. Do you have a favorite bass line from the Hendrix library?
I discovered this song called "Power of Soul." There is, I'm teaching you something. I didn't know. A bass line is really intricate. It's really intense. There are a lot of notes. It's kind of, there is an ostinato, and you have to keep the groove for a long time. And it's a lot of unison with guitar. That's one of my favorites, maybe because I needed to study a lot because before having it on my fingers, under my fingers. That's one of my favorites. And then I love Fire.
Oh yeah.
I feel the best line. I find in some Jaco stuff into this bass line. Yeah, because for you don't have it here.
No, I'm thinking. I'm imagining the line in my head.
I will play it for you.
But Jocko came after that, though. So
Yeah,
I don't
but
know. Interesting.
maybe Jaco, no, without maybe. Of course, Jaco was hearing and, being inspired. In music,
Yes.
we invent nothing. It's like there are things that are in the air, and at a certain point, musicians, maybe we have a gift, and we we are like we feel the things in the air. I don't know. I think that we can't invent. Jaco was inspired. Victor Wooten is by someone else. Victor Wooten is inspired, and then he reproposed his version of things. We are not stealing from others. We are getting inspired, and then we give our version of the things. If you play a
Sure.
Jaco songs, it's not interesting to copy, to do a cover. It's much more interesting to do your version, like
Absolutely.
as you feel it, and you say, okay,
Yeah.
I can interpret it. Maybe I had this feeling because I came from classical music. In classical music, you can't invent, but you can interpret it. Interpretation is really important. When you play a Bottesini concert, even the cadenza is written. Cadenza is this part that in the past was a kind of improvisation for musicians, but today is not, we don't do this anymore. Every cadenza is written, but you can recognize the spirit of a great player listening to the way he is interpreting the cadenza. So that's how I approach music. I interpret it every time. I do my version of things.
Okay. I just got three big nuggets of wisdom from you right now. Number one, we don't create anything, but we do. There is something to be said for passing the baton off to the next person, because we don't have to go all the way back to the beginning. Each generation takes what already exists and then builds on that, and like you say, interprets in your interpretation. But I think there's also something to be said for somebody like Larry Graham and slapping it. Nobody nobody seems to argue that he was the one that came up with that, and that didn't exist before. So in some cases, somebody will come up with something new, or tapping. Somebody said, I remember hearing that was actually a classical guitar technique
Yeah,
from like
yeah.
300.
Yeah,
So
I saw a video, and there are a lot, but even slap in the New Orleans music, double bass players, they were already slap
well,
the
you mean like
bass.
the Milt Hinton kind of slapping, or the Lee Rocker kind of slapping, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that was the way in the boogie woogie music, the bassist slapped. So who invented this? Who knows?
What kind of music?
The boogie woogie.
I heard you the first time. I just wanted to hear you say it again. So, so on the one hand, maybe we don't create anything new, and then on the other hand, maybe we do. And then the third thing is that we interpret what we hear, and we do our own version. Why do I want to hear you playing Jocko just like Jocko? I've got Jocko to do that. So put your own spin on it. I think you raised some great points. So I was in Paris. Boy, I don't know how long ago it was, about 8 years ago or so, and I did seek out some of the jazz clubs, not too many, but I interviewed Kyle Eastwood a couple of times. You ever run into him? He spends about half of his time in Paris,
I
and
never I never met him. I know he lives in Paris. I never met him.
Yeah. He's a very good bass player, and he just did a big project on the music from his dad's films, which is stellar. It came out, I think, around September of 2023. And I've got a good friend from Detroit, Rick Margitza, who spends a lot. I think he lives in Paris. I don't know if he's a great jazz player. He played with Miles, actually. He's on one of Miles's albums. And
Yeah,
you must know Bunny Brunel. You must know him, right?
I met him maybe in Germany, but he's living here.
Well,
Does he
no,
live?
he's great now, but he's from France, and he always corrects me when I try to say Champs Elysees. He says, "No, it's Champs Elysees." Josquin des Prés. There's quite a rich musical heritage of contemporary people that are doing a lot of cool stuff in Paris. What? Tell me, you were holding a nice electric bass, and I see a beautiful upright standing up in the corner. Tell me about your basses and your gear and effects and strings and all that stuff.
Yeah, our passion years. Well, that's my Fender Jack American Standard. The only custom stuff is the pickguard. Otherwise, I like to keep instrument in the original way. Well, I custom also talk with girl stuff, and that's
What?
my main base.
Yeah. What were
Can
you
you see
showing me? Yeah. Oh, I see now.
the custom decoration?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you don't have to mess with it. I think Leo Fender got it pretty darn right. You don't have to, standard stock stuff is still just fine.
Well, so that's my main base that I use for everything. I'm a really fan of Fender because I can do everything. I with one bass I can have a precision. I can play funk. I can play rock. I can play blues. Otherwise, I endorse Warwick basses since 25 years.
Yeah.
By this time, I have a pink bass, a fabulous pink bass they made for me.
You were very
I'm not,
excited talking about that in the last interview.
yeah.
A streamer, I think, right?
Yes, a streamer stage 2 5 strings. It's beautiful, beautiful, and the sound is great. But I don't use it anymore. Last week was my birthday. I'm not safe. No. But let's say that it's not the style is not for me actually at the moment because I don't see myself playing Hendrix with a pink bass.
What?
And I could try, but it's not. It won't be good. And then this really, I'm doing almost everything with the Fender Jazz. I used a fretless, a Warwick fretless for strings often, and then the uprights over there, La Grande.
What kind of?
It's
I'm
an
sorry.
Italian.
What kind of pickup do you have on it?
On my upright, I have an Underwood.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I still have
I
an
have one.
because I've heard that they are not doing it anymore. A lot of people are asking, "Oh, which kind of pickup is this?" It's the first one I bought like 30 years ago,
Yeah,
and
that's about when I got mine.
it's still on my base, and Sintra is perfect.
What kind of amp do you play through?
I play Mark bass. I play on Mark bass. Not only where they are Italian, of course. So I'm really
Yes.
proud I'm double, 2 times proud of being endorsed by this brand. But really, Mark Bass is like a family for me. I know Marco, I know the owner, I know
Ricardo,
Ricardo.
Sebo,
They
you know
are all.
Sebo? Yeah,
I don't
very, very
see
nice.
them very often, but we did a YouTube video like 2 months ago, and I had the opportunity to talk a little bit with them. When I was in Italy, everything was easier. We could meet, but now, even at the NAMM show, I didn't see them this year. But it's really like a family for me, Mark Bass. And the amp is simply perfect for me. I'm very easy. For me, really simplicity is not stupidity. I use the gears, and I'm not gear. I don't collect gears because I want to keep it simple, easy, light. Also, because I don't. It's also important. And I'm starting to use the pedals. I hated pedals all my life, and now I'm using the bass X from Solo Dallas. It's just great. It's a boost. I'm starting. I'm starting light with a boost, and then maybe I will have an octaver one day. But I'm really using, just to plug in the amp or straight in a DI. If you have the sound in your mind, you will find it. You will find it somehow, somewhere.
What kind of strings do you play?
I play Ernie Ball. I play with Ernie Ball. Ernie Ball.
Ernie Ball.
Yeah.
Ernie Ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on the upright, I play Savarez. It's French. It's French brand Corelli. And I don't change my strings very often.
Well, on the upright, you don't have to, and some people don't. I don't think Duck Dunn ever changed his strings on his electric bass.
I know. I know some people that are changing their strings before every concert.
Yeah. Well, Anthony Jackson is like that. He changes, I don't know, like twice a day or something crazy like that. I don't know.
For me, every time when I have to change strings, I start thinking about like 1 month before. Say, okay, I will change the strings so that in 2 months I will be in the studio and I play with dirty hands. I do weird stuff because I hate all the high frequencies. For me, I really it's not good. I like an old sound that's, I say, easy, simple, round, warm, the bass sound, easy.
I want to ask you about bass education, playing bass and learning bass. For BassPlayersOnly.com is really a bass instruction site. We've got people from pretty much all 50 states now in the US and 50, 60 countries around the world, probably more than that now. And most of the people are silver-aged bass enthusiasts. I've got students in their 50s, 60s, 70s. I've got students in their 80s. Mostly men, but I've got men and women. So they're not trying to make a career out of music. They want to play some classic rock riffs with their friends, or some blues shuffles, or maybe some walking bass, maybe a little funk R&B. Some of them are interested in slapping. And sometimes the things that happen to us when we get into our 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, things like arthritis and tendonitis, and some people are recovering from surgery. I'm not saying that's most of the students. I'm just trying to give you a general context, because I want to ask you, Antonella, what advice do you have for somebody like that who wants to learn to play the bass, what do you think they should be thinking about? What kind of goals should they have? What kind of questions should they be asking? Jump in anywhere.
Yeah. You were saying something at the very beginning of the interview that you are never too old to start playing bass, or in general, we are never too old to start something new, something that give us passion. So the first, I think the key word is the passion. If you feel accomplished, if you feel happy or simply cool holding a bass, you have to go for it. You know, world is big. And bass is beautiful, music is beautiful. We live in a weird world, actually, because with internet we are constantly, it's like having a window opened. Me too, sometimes I feel scared. I said, do I still have my place with all these young generations? They are monsters and playing complicated stuff, fast stuff. But finally, I try to remember, why did I start playing bass? You know what? I don't really know. It's like, I don't want to say, yeah, bass decided. It was just like the beginning of a love story. I felt in love with the instrument, and I'm still in love. It's an eternal love, and the more you give, the more you receive. That's the only advice I can give. I know if I don't touch the the big guy over there for 1 week, he will be very, very angry with me after 1 week. But if I play every day, everything is fluid, everything is normal, and I can really express myself via the instrument. That's the advice is to uh, go for it, create your own world, enjoy every single note, enjoy every single moment, share with other people, because we belong to a kind of community. And bass players, we are specials. Don't say to guitar players, they are not like us. I have a lot of friends. We don't have competition between us. With my friends, bass players, we talk, we share, we are, yeah, my friend. And you see guitar players, they are every time looking at each other. I'm faster than him. So yeah, I talk a lot. I talk a lot. I'm trying to keep my hands down, but the real advice is that yeah, it's never too late. It's not a competition. It's just a trip. Music is a trip. You start at 50, you start at 8. It's not important. We are not. We are all going in the same day, the same point. It's just a matter to enjoy this beautiful ride.
Well, that's a great message. Thank you for that. You said a lot of great things. I hope everybody was listening and paying close attention. What about the future for you? What else would you like to do that you haven't accomplished yet? Is there something that you've always wanted to do that you haven't gotten around to? Or is there, someday I'm going to, or is there something else in the works that you haven't mentioned yet?
Uh, I restart having dreams, because when you work a lot, at a certain point you forget the passion. You start like it's a daily routine. But since a couple of years, I'm restarting building dreams. Sometimes are new dreams, and other time is I'm opening, the drum with the old dreams, and say, oh, what could I could, for example, something I'm missing a lot is I want to play in a big band. Because when I was in Italy, I was playing in several big bands, Duke Ellington tribute, things like that. And in Paris, the jazz I like is not very à la mode. It's not very fashion. So it's kind of complicated. So one of my dreams, yeah, is this one. And the second dream is to do my solo album. It's like 50 years. I'm saying the same things. I think I will never do it. And
You will do it. You will.
I don't know if it's really it's necessary. There is a lot of music.
Of course, it's not necessary, but do it anyway. I've interviewed over 850 bass players, and almost everybody tells me that. Well, you know, I've been a side man, a side woman for so many other acts. I have so much of my own stuff. I'd like to make my own record. And then they all say, but it's not going to be one of those bass records. I hate bass records. But I encourage you to do it. I'm going to do it. And the more I say it out loud, the more real it becomes. I've got several different types of projects that I have in mind, but let's start with one. And I've got some dream people that I'd like to have featured on it. And I'd like to be excited for you, knowing that you don't say it probably won't happen. I mean, it's up to you, but all I'm saying is I'd love for you to do it. I would encourage you to do it, and I'd be the first one to buy it.
Okay, I will keep this on my mind. Yeah, maybe it's because I was a side woman for my entire life, and I play different styles. So my music is not pure jazz. Is not rock. It's not classical. It's a mix of everything. A lot of influences. I don't know. Actually, I'm recording. I'm in a very cool project with Matt Nina. It's a guy. He's recording two songs per day in studio in the old, really old fashioned way. We are all in the same room. We do we record only 3 times because we are recording on an analog tape. So you more than 3, you are deleting the first version, and it's really cool because I have a lot of freedom. You know, he gives us the song, and I can create my bass lines. And it's a trio with sometimes with guests, and that's really cool. It's kind of a hard rock oriented, so it's interesting for me. That's the main project together with Electric Ladyland. I'm playing actually. I really like. I would say it's a good moment. I'm enjoying this. I'm playing less on tour. The last tour was last year, and I'm happy about. I can see my son a little bit more because now it's a teenager. It's 14. If I don't take advantage now, in few years, he won't he won't be spending his time with me. And
is he music?
Yeah, he's playing trumpet. He studied trumpet at the conservatory. He's good one, but he likes also, he would like to be a pilot, Formula One. And that's it. And I play a lot home. I play for myself. Because when you are a session man, you are every time learning songs that you really like every time. When I'm with myself, I can play whatever I want. So I play a Duke Ellington song, and then an Earth, Wind and Fire, and then Hendrix song, and then maybe an Italian old song just to be a little bit nostalgic.
You ever get back to Italy? When was the last time you were there?
Oh, I was there for Christmas, but just for the family. I go like a little bit incognito. Otherwise, I should see all my friends, and I miss them. I miss this time for the people, for the friends. But musical scene in Italy actually is not it's not really interesting. There are not so many things happening. France is great because you can really feel it. You are in the middle of Europe, and there are a lot of influences from Caribbean music, African music. There is a lot of world music. It's not really my stuff, but it's nourishing for uh, for your brain. So I don't play it, but I go to listen and also to see different way of playing.
Yes.
Really far from my culture, but it's really interesting.
That's great. You know, I learned a new word when I was in Italy that I like very much to say. Sangiovese.
Yeah, okay.
I
You,
started. I like Chianti now. I used to drink Pinot Noir. Now I drink Chianti because if it says
perfect.
Sangiovese on the bottle, I say, oh, I know what that is. I like that grape.
You know the base. That's really good, and you spell it great, Sangiovese. Perfect.
Sangiovese. Yes. Well, I have one more question for you, Antonella. If you could imagine, what would you be if you were not a bass player? Something outside of music.
Oh, I would have loved being a writer.
What kind
Uh,
of writer would you write?
oh, roman, no, no journalist. I imagine, myself dressed in white on a beach with my laptop in front of the sea and writing and feeling this peace. I don't know why I associate writing with peace. Probably because I'm someone that is not in peace. So the perfect job, the perfect context would have been this writing. Yeah,
Beautiful. Well, you could be a bass player and a writer. You could still do both.
I wrote a book in 15 years ago, but was just for myself, for some friends. Was not a masterpiece, but I did it.
Well, we all got to start somewhere. Well, this is great. I really enjoy talking with you. It's great catching up. And let's not wait another 8 or 9 years before we do it again. Keep us posted on everything you're doing with the Hendrix tribute band, Electric Ladyland. And if and when you do decide to do that record, we'll share that with our audience. That's another excuse to get together for another interview. Not that we need an excuse, but I wish you much luck and peace and continued success in the future in everything you do. Thank you so much for joining me again on my show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for everything you do for the bass players.
Well, it's my pleasure and my honor. You're watching ForBassPlayersOnly.com. I'm John Liebman, founder and first baseman. If you've ever wanted to learn bass, you should know that right now there are thousands of people inside the For Bass Players Only community, a lot of them over 50, and they're playing bass, learning music, having the time of their life playing music that they love. You should come join them and experience that incredible transformation for yourself. Because, as Antonella Mazza would concur, you're never too old to groove. So let's play bass. Thank you again, Antonella Mazza. It's just fun to say your name. And I will see you all right here, same time, same place next week. In the meantime, let's play bass.